What's up, everybody? Friday night. Even tonight, I don't even have to look at the date today because it's Friday the 13th. Unlucky? I don't know. I think it's pretty good evening. You know, here in New York, weather's getting a little bit cold. 2 weeks from this weekend will be Thanksgiving holiday. Just a reminder, everyone, I will be off 2 weeks from today. I will be out of New York and, spend a little bit of relaxation. Definitely need to recharge the batteries a little bit. And believe it or not, and I swear to God, when I bring up relationships or if I talk about my better half in the other room, it's not to rub it in people's faces. I mean, I haven't had that been accused of me in like 25 years. Why do people get so butthurt over that? But, just to show you how fast time flies. 2 weeks from today is the 1 year anniversary I got engaged. And just to show you how much this year sucked, I was supposed to have my engagement party already. We were already supposed to have the date. We were all supposed to hang out in Florida for WrestleMania weekend. And you see what's going on. And now COVID cases in the United States are at record numbers. It's because people are just fed up. Just fed up. I mean, I can understand being in lockdown for a month, 2 months, 4 months, even 6 months. But we're on the cusp of a vaccine. And then you hear governors like here in New York say, we're not going to accept the vaccine when it's available. Fuck you. I live in a free country. I have every right if I want to get vaccinated or if I don't want to get vaccinated. I'm just fed up. I'm fed up with the noise. I'm fed up with politics. So I am here. Maybe brighten up your days a little bit talking about wrestling. We got a few things to get into tonight. For some of you out there that may not be aware of it, right now on Fight TV, Talk Shop A Mania 2. If you guys and gals have never seen the first Talk Shop A Mania, the best way I could describe it is if you just think back to 20 years ago and all the stories you heard about all the wrestlers hanging out, throwing ribs and goofing off and cursing and drinking, maybe a little bit of smoke as well. It just feels like when pro wrestling hits the college campus. Some people you might feel like they never grew up. I mean, honestly, it's just, when they say it's the second worst pay-per-view of all time, you're not going to develop any brain cells from watching Talk Shop A Mania. But it's going on right now. It actually starts at this very moment. So if any of you want to leave and go watch it, I give you permission. But I want to read the press release. It's only 2 paragraphs, but maybe this will entice some of you to go check it out. By the way, lots of strong language, a lot of adult humor. The penis is referenced quite a few times, but this is the press release for Talkin' Shop-A-Mania. Got to remember the end. Coming off the heels of this summer instant cult classic, the Hoots are back. The boys of Talkin' Shop, Impact stars Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, New Japan Pro Wrestling star Rocky Romero are bringing more surreal insanity to pay-per-view. The event is highlighted by a main event ball for a ball match, and that is as in testicle. Featuring Chad Too Bad versus Sex Ferguson in a match you have to see to believe. The most insane cinematic match of the year, Chavo Guerrero versus Chico El Luchador. Hardcore legends Tommy Dreamer, Just Incredible, Rhino will take on each other. And then other people that are going to be on this special is Scott Steiner, Shane Helms, Scott D'Amore, Enzo Chavito, Teddy Long, Tommy Dreamer, Gangrel, Just Incredible, Nathan Orton, Rhino, Heath, JTG, Brian Myers, Balls Deep Billy, Warlord, Freight Train, Ball Lame Man. many testicle references. Barbarian, Virgil, Sami Callihan, the Rock and Roll Express, Ethan Page, Taya Valkyrie, Mark Jindrak, Rory Fox, Mike Knox, Man Fulton, Air Paris Woggle, Mr. Hughes, Alex Kozlov, Uncle Bobby Ferguson, Paul Lee, Kevin Furteg, Mordecai, George North, Laser Lariatoman, Annie Cruz, David Penza, Bryce Cannon, Rim Job, Stump Kowalski, Frankie Coverdale, Chris Van Valley. Oh, it's good. Great for how you doing, everybody? Are you enjoying the show? Good, a thumbs up. Yay! My God. Better hope Chris Van Valley never gets CM Punk color teeth. Seriously. $14.95. You honestly can't go wrong. 2 hours of just goofiness. And I say that in the utmost sincere form of flattery. I am watching it after the show is over tonight. And by the way, if you notice, 4 shows in a row, I have been 2 hours or less. Yes, Wednesday went 2 hours and 5 minutes, but that was the longest show in the last 4. Fact of the matter is, you know, and I've brought this up on the other shows, and I got to bring it up again now. You know, I appreciate each and every one of you that support what I do. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm here, you know, because of all of you. I'm not going to do this just to see myself talk or hear myself. But the thing is that I know a lot of you out there are fans of other podcasters out there, whether it's video or audio, and there's only so many hours in a week. And it's really, really tough when you really take a step back and to say to people, okay, I want you to watch 3 hours of me on Monday. I want you to watch another 2.5 hours on Wednesday. So we're already at 5.5 hours. I want you to watch another 2.5 to 3 hours on Friday. I mean, you add Patreon stuff, that's like 12 hours of shows a week. That's a lot. So, you know, I mean, let's be honest. Not every single one of you, you know, is basically sitting home unemployed for a year and just sitting on social media all day and enjoying podcasts. No, we have lives, responsibilities. You know, life is not on hold. So making the shows shorter balances out the content a little bit, keeps it fresh, keeps it tight, and also gives you plenty of time to enjoy others out there. Another thing I want to let everybody know, starting tonight, and I am going to update the YouTube channel with a little like intro greeting on the channel, basically to let everybody know, especially new viewers out there, as far as what the channel's about, what we're going to do. Little things are going to be added in the very near future. But one thing that I'm going to start doing tonight, and this has to do with commercials. You know, I know that they play ads at the beginning of the show, the end of the show, and like every 20, 30 minutes. That is going to change. From now on, starting tonight, the only commercials you will ever see on these video shows will be at the beginning and at the end. None of this while we're right in the middle of deep conversation. Oh, yeah, and ZELINA VEGA, by the way, Geico. No. No more. No more. Money's important, obviously, and any little dollar helps, you know, for bills, expenses, running the shows, improving quality, you know, but, you know, it's not at the expense of some of you out there that are a little annoyed at the ad. So that is going to change. Yeah, Benjamin, if I start getting sponsorships, I'm eliminating commercials completely. Sure, I'll have to plug something, but it won't be like some of these other podcasters. Like every 3 minutes, they're plugging some type of commercial for something. But I want your viewing pleasure to be, you know, the maximum. Now, audio only, it's a little bit different because I have no control as far as what the ad company puts in. But as far as YouTube goes, I have control over that. And it starts tonight. So now, I know a lot of you out there are very, very interested as far as what went down with ZELINA VEGA in the WWE. By the way, just to let everybody know, tonight, this episode, we'll review Smackdown. I'll give you the updated Survivor Series card. We'll preview Impact Wrestling's Turning Point pay-per-view. Yeah, they're doing another pay-per-view already. Go figure. But still, the card is pretty solid, so I'm going to bring it up. The quarter-hour ratings for AEW and NXT, I have it, tells an interesting story for a couple of particular wrestlers. A few, I think, especially on WWE side, they have to start reevaluating the amount of airtime they're giving a few people. We'll talk about that later. So you got Smackdown, Impact preview, quarter-hour ratings, ZELINA Vega. We'll also share a couple of moments regarding the unfortunate anniversary of the passing of Eddie Guerrero, which was 15 years ago today. You know what? I'll just mention it now. The 15-year anniversary of Eddie Pez. Look, anybody that is a long-time viewer, listener of mine, you know the audio that I'm talking about. I was going to share some of it on tonight's show, but I started listening to it back. Yeah, the audio quality sucks, but it just was too depressing. And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, you've heard me say a trillion times in the past that I've been doing Wrestling Hotline since 1997. In 2005, I was still doing a Wrestling Hotline. We didn't have podcasts then. But what I used to do is I used to take my hotline reports, and it was all through a telephone. There was no mixer or stereo, podcast equipment. It was just talking into a telephone, done. But what I used to do is I used to take the hotlines that I used to do on my telephone, plug on this. You ever see a cordless phone? It's got like an audio jack on the side of it where you could plug in like one little ear plug so you don't have to hold the phone. I used to take like a cable, plug it in there, and instead of it plugging into a speaker, I would take the other side of the cord and plug it into my computer. So when I would dial my hotline, whatever audio is coming out of the phone would go into the computer. Who would have ever thought back in 2003, 4, 5 that we would have what we have today with podcasts? And I'm not kidding. Some people to this day still insist that yours truly was one of the first ever webcasts on the internet. Anywhere. Because we weren't even calling it shows back then. I just took my audio and put it online and figured I'd have a bigger audience. Didn't charge anything. But the night that Eddie Guerrero passed, I did my hotline report. And what I did was I gave everybody the opportunity to pay tribute to Eddie Guerrero. And what I told everyone is if you want to leave a 1 or 2 minute tribute, what I will do is I will keep clearing out the mailbox and I'll save everybody's messages. And I played it over the span of the next month. There were so many tributes that came in. But, I'll tell you this much, and I really, truly mean this. Obviously we've had some real horrible tragedies in the last 20, 30 years in the world of pro wrestling. You could go recently with Brian Pillman, Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper's is tragic because it was totally unexpected. You had other deaths where people were older. Of course, you never want to say goodbye. But I will tell you, from 1997 till even the present, there was no other death in the world of pro wrestling that led to so many people legitimately sobbing when they were paying tribute. It's mind-blowing to go back and listen to all of those hotline messages in 2005. And believe it or not, if anybody remembers, one of the persons that left it on the answer machine was someone by the name of Kevin from Sheepshead Bay, who is a former co-host of mine. At the time, he was a listener of all my shows. But I will tell you, as years go by, when people have passed, some of their legacy gets amplified, and some of their credentials get uber amplified. And I'll use an example, and it's totally unpopular for me to say this, but anybody that really truly was a wrestling fan in the late 90s know that what I'm about to say is 1,000% legitimate. Owen Hart. It's one of those, I remember where I was, I remember what I was wearing, and I remember when you get chills going down your spine, for whatever reason, usually when you just get a tragic news about something, it doesn't even have to do with wrestling. But I remember vividly getting that chill down my spine more than once that day, over and over and over again, and just reliving that moment. And it was absolutely terrible. As the years go by, you see more and more people saying, oh, if Owen didn't die, he would have been WWF champion. And honestly, you go back at that era, Bret Hart leaves to go to WCW. Jim the Anvil Neidhart ends up leaving to go to WCW. British Bulldog was near the tail end of his career, obviously tragically taken too soon as well. But Owen Hart, at that time, when you think of The Rock, you think of Steve Austin and a few others. I can honestly tell you, as a big Owen Hart fan, but also a wrestling fan, and not someone who was 6 at the time, didn't understand things, there was never once at that time, even on my hotlines, where people were like, I think Owen could become heavyweight champion. I think, if they play their cards right, Owen could be the next heavyweight. It was never discussed. It was never discussed. When he was jumping the guardrails and attacking Triple H and other people, like he was just, it was a really cool storyline, but there was never any discussion. There was never any buzz, and that's just the fact. It doesn't take away him. When I was a kid, before we knew, what Snuka turned out to be, Snuka was my second or third favorite wrestler of all time. And Snuka was incredible. Snuka was the most over wrestler before Hulk Hogan in the WWF. Across the board. Before Hogan debuted or returned to the WWF, because he was there in 79. But when Hogan returned in the early 80s, before Hogan returned, Snuka, not even close, the most over wrestler WWF had. And nobody at that time said, I know he fought Backlund in 82 when he was a heel, but I think Snuka, if he's put back in a title picture, he could be heavyweight champion. Nobody ever brought that up. They just wanted to see him beat the balls out of Morocco, then beat the balls out, earlier, Ray Stevens, Piper, and others. So, but I will say, of all the tragedies, and I don't want to compare the effects, but I could tell you that when Eddie Guerrero passed, I never experienced that many people legitimately sobbing. And it was sad, but it was also wonderful, because that was a guy who was beloved when we first saw him in Mexico, when he then went to ECW. We had When Worlds Collide, I think it was. Then he went to WCW. Then, he turned heel. And when he first went to the WWF, they were just misfiring with Eddie Guerrero. And a lot of people forget how deep those Eddie sucks chants were. You go back and you watch Eddie when he first went to the WWF. Yeah, the Radical storyline at the very beginning was very cool, and it was unfortunate because Eddie ended up, injuring his elbow. He did that frog splash, and, he was in a sling for a while. But there were points where those Eddie sucks, everybody gives, people who want to get tweet fucked, they give so much negativity towards X-Pac when he was in WWF, because they're like, oh, remember those X-Pac sucks chants? There were points where Eddie, his sucks chants were just as nuclear. And to see him overcome that and truly becoming one of the most beloved wrestlers in my lifetime, it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet. He had his demons. He had problems with, obviously you see how his body morphed, but it was also, other things. But it was so human to all of us. And, man, it's 15 years already. And it blows me in now. If anybody out there really wants to hear that audio, because it's about 40 minutes long, maybe I'll upload the file on YouTube as a separate file if you want to hear it. But, you know, that's one thing. You know, I don't think anybody else has that. I have in real time, 15 years ago, audio from my hotline, 40 minutes worth of callers paying tribute to him, and you just hear the deep, deep sorrow. That's not people trying to get, you know, phone fucked, if you want to call it that. Those are fans who were devastated at his passing. And I'll say one last thing before we go on. Randy Orton, well, two things. Randy Orton found his old EG armband. You know, that episode of Raw, I believe it was Raw, right after Eddie's passing. It might have been SmackDown. Well, then the WWE show that aired after, all the wrestlers wore bands that said EG on it. Randy Orton posted a photo that he found his, and he put it back on, and he was watching Eddie Guerrero matches this weekend. So, you know, 15 years is a very long time, very long time. And I'll tell you something else. And obviously, they did not know at that time, but, you know, just to show you, I mean, just how weird things ended up. That hotline report that I did that day was also the debut of Christian in TNA. That same day was TNA Genesis, 2005. And Christian, as Christian Cage, made his TNA debut. And it was awesome. I mean, the fans ate it up. I ate it up. And I remember, you know, just being so happy that Christian's back on my television set. And he debuted for TNA the same day that Eddie Guerrero passed. Bittersweet, man. Bittersweet. But on a lighter note, everyone, you know, one thing that unfortunately always reminds me of Eddie's passing as well. We have another anniversary today. Not necessarily an anniversary, it's a birthday. For all of you out there, especially if you have Twitter, later on, go to @WrestlingSoup and wish my co-host, Mish, a happy birthday. Today is Mish's birthday. No joke. And if you were never aware of it, if you see that photo I have posted right now, that is Mish with Poppy. Yes, that Poppy. Mish actually went to Poppy's concert and had the opportunity to do the eulogy of Poppy's funeral. Come on, man. It doesn't get sweeter than that. I mean, I love shit like that. That's why, like I say, man, I see these goofs on social media that won't show what they look like. And they hide behind avatars and old vintage photos. And they're so embarrassed to show what they look like today. I mean, and what's really sad about that, seriously, what's really sad about that, and it's not to, you know, start shit, but think of it like this. When you are so insecure that you can't show your face, when you have really, really awesome memories or awesome instances that you want to share with the world, you don't share it because you're so embarrassed of yourselves. You know, how could you love someone else if you can't love yourself? And Mish, you know, this guy goes to Poppy, does the funeral, they got the photos, and immediately shares it with the world. That's fucking awesome, man. You know, show the world, you know, good things that happen to you. You know, don't be afraid to show it. Don't be embarrassed to show it. That's an awesome memory. You should be proud of it and you share it with the world. That's what just blows me away with some people out there. You know, they tweet about all these things and never show you a damn piece of proof. And then that's when you realize that 95% of it is fake. It's fake and it's sad. But so franchise is saying, why am I into those people? I'm not into those people. But I'll say this, franchise, and I'm not asking anybody to post right now what I'm about to say, but I try to show support and encouragement for a lot of people out there who are a little bit too self-conscious about themselves or afraid. if they put, and I'm going to give you the ultimate example. Somebody out there, I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm going to pull it up. Or you know what? I'll give it, because I don't want to start typing while I'm doing a show. Right now, for somebody live, I will give you your choice of any 3 NXT or AEW shirts, or combination thereof. Any 3 shirts of your choice. You got to go on Twitter, and you got to get me the guy's name that did that video with Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose. And I feel bad because I don't remember his name right now. He's a loyal friend of the show. I know, DT, you're fucked up. He's such a loyal friend, you don't remember his name. You know why? Because I always talk to him by his nickname. But one of you out there, I'll refresh the story in case you don't know about it. Not too long ago, there was a fan that had a conversation with, was it Mandy Rose or Liv Morgan? I'm trying to remember. You know, maybe it was even was it Alexa Bliss? No. It can't. It was either Liv Morgan or Mandy Rose. There was a fan that had the virtual meet and greet with one of those two, and the fan was very, very nervous. And she's like, "Don't be nervous," and this and that. He posted the video. And tons of people were making fun of him. Mandy Rose, thank you. Mortalica, you're halfway there to the shirts. What's his name? You just got to look up fan Mandy Rose. Mortalica, you're on your... Ryan. Chat site. All right, you know what? How's this? Because I know chat site and Mortalica are friendly. How's this? We'll give chat site 2 shirts, and we'll give Mortalica 1 shirt. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, never mind. Christian Chandler. Lord Doja just stole it from all of you. They just stole it. You know, I'm in a giving mood. So how's this? Lord Doja, you get 2 shirts. Now, wait a minute. Whoa. It's not Sean Bedard. Lord Doja, it's definitely Christian Chandler. Lord Doja gets 2 shirts. We'll give Chatsite 1 and we'll give Mortalica 1. And I know they're real profiles. So VJ is saying Sean Bedard. Was it Sean Bedard? Oh my God, now I really feel it is Sean Bedard. It is Sean Bedard. So you know what? We'll give Christian and VJ a shirt apiece. We'll give Mortalica, Lord Doja, and Chatsite a shirt apiece. 5 people, 5 shirts. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. How's that? Everybody gets a shirt. Those 5. And all of you, I know pretty much your profiles, so just DM me, and I'll hook you up. Sean Bedard. Go on my Twitter, because I follow him on Twitter. I only follow a very small number of people. He had the conversation, and what happened was he was very, very nervous. You watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. And Mandy Rose like, don't be nervous. This guy posted it because he was so proud, and people started making fun of him left and right. Mandy Rose did another video and basically told everybody pretty much to shut the fuck up, and really went to bat for Sean. And I thought that was so awesome. So, Benjamin, what I was saying earlier is that Sean Bedard and others out there, have, gone forward, and they're not ashamed, and they're just happy, and they just want to share the world with the happiness. And there are people tuning in right now that have said to me, DT, I would have never, done this, or, thank you for being just real and straight up. There's so many people that are just petrified of, goofs on social media, just going to put down anything good that they just want to show the world. And I'm telling you, don't. Enjoy yourself. Be happy. Those people out there that don't appreciate your happiness, they're not your friends. I know it's very tempting on social media because you're always having conversations with people and it feels good and this and that. But when you see people out there that, the minute you post something positive, they ignore you, they turn away, or they even write something derogatory, or they use burner accounts to put you down. Those are people that are just jealous of your happiness. So I'm here to tell everybody out there, you know. And you remember when I talked about the first ever AEW heels. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't be part of it because I'm not a woman. But the first AEW heels, I posted the photo, the screenshot of all the women that were doing that Zoom call. And they were all shapes, sizes, nationalities. And the one thing that I'll always remember from that first Zoom is that every single person had a smile on their face. And that's a wonderful thing. And it's just, it's sad to see. And I think the reason why people sometimes also don't reveal themselves is because they are. You know, most of what they say is a lie. And, you know, if you out, you know, yourself and you show yourself, now you got to back it up. And there's a lot of people that can't. So, but anyway. So I tell everybody out there, fuck all the negativity out there. I'm not this woke, you know, like if Chris Van Vliet, the way he looks, that's not how I feel inside. I'm not like, oh, the world is so great. I love the world. Everything is hunky-dory. Oh, this is just great. Look, I'm having a great time. No, shitload sucks. Even more the reason why be happy, enjoy yourself. And if you want to tell the fucking world how happy you are, never feel guilty for that. And that's something that I had to really, really learn. You know, I had to really learn when I wanted to do this. I had people really putting me down, making me feel guilty like I was doing something wrong. And the one thing that I will never, ever forget, no matter where this goes, it could fail tomorrow. I could drop dead tomorrow. But wherever this goes, the one thing I'll never forget from all of you out there, from Jay Carlos to Ray to Baller to Kris to Ben, whoever it is, the one thing that so many of you said over and over and over again over these last 8 months, especially early on, is, you know, DT seems happy. I mean, and I say, when you see me smile or laugh, or Mish smiles or laugh, that's legit. It's not fake or choreographed. I mean, I'm really, really having fun right now with all of you. And, you know, I wouldn't replace that. So anyway, now let's talk about probably the biggest subject in hand. And, well, you know what? Before we do that, Jay Carlos, they released Zelina, but JoJo is still on the payroll. Okay. You know me. My motto since 1997 is, I don't want to be first. I want to be right. And the one thing I don't do with any of you out there is I don't clickbait. I have nothing against the podcasters that do, but you see so many of these podcasters that have to put in these big, bold letters, clickbait, to draw you in. To draw you in. You spot that. Ah! What's this all about? I don't clickbait. I may lose viewers that it doesn't stand out. I don't give a shit. I tell you straight up. If I don't know what's going on with a situation, I tell you the truth. But if I can get some information, I will share it with all of you out there. I don't care if I get credit for it or not. I laugh when websites, remember Mr. Mystery? People are still trying to get me to admit who Mr. Mystery was. You all, if you weren't around in like 05, 06, 07, 08, when I was doing my stuff, you missed a ball. This Mr. Mystery would give us all the dirt in TNA, everything. And we would every week throw news, scoops, this and that. And no one else could report it. And they hated me so much, they would never, ever give me credit for it. Probably the most remembered one was when I revealed that Hall, Nash, and Waltman were going to be in TNA. The band was getting back together. And people were denying it, saying that's not true, blah, 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 blah. And then the following week, boom, loved it. Larry, I can promise you, was not Jerry Jarrett. He was much younger than Jerry Jarrett. But, so now we get to Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega's situation today was very interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because if you've noticed, there have been quite a few podcasters and websites who thought they were comedians on Mondays and then Thursdays, always putting down Zelina Vega. She wrestles like shit. She's this, she's that. She's tiny. She's 50 pounds. She should be wrestling in Ethiopia. She's scrawny. It's not believable. She sucks. Is this and that. If you remember, when she had that match with Asuka, I said, this Zelina Vega's got a little chip on her shoulder. And I think this could be her breaking out part to show everyone, hell, I may not be the top wrestler, but I could actually hold my own. You might remember that. It's documented. I am a supporter of Zelina Vega. Mish, big supporter of Zelina Vega as well. And, Zelina Vega, I found it funny of so many people today who have been doing nothing but crack jokes about Zelina Vega for the last 3-4 months, suddenly are a big fan of hers. I mean, I know some people out there get offended when I say that there's so many undiagnosed cases of bipolar on social media. The Zelina Vega story today definitely showed that tonight. I'm looking at certain social media accounts and I'm saying to myself, I mean, am I in a twilight zone? All the hate, and some of these people have been bragging that they were blocked by Zelina Vega on social media, and then today suddenly they care? Don't fucking care. But they know that if they continue their jokes today, they'll get eaten up and spit out by the entire social media because of what's going on. So I say to all of them out there, this. So, what happened with Zelina Vega, and what is the deal? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I found out so far. It is not 100% complete, but I guarantee you, it is more than what you have read online. And I'll give you the number one person that everybody is retweeting and cutting and pasting from. And there's one very important element of what this person said that is missing in this person's statement. Mike Johnson, my old friend, Mike Johnson, PW Insider, he wrote today, and I quote, Zelina Vega was fallout from last month's edict that talents dropped their relationships with third-party entities such as Twitch, Cameo, etc., in favor of World Wrestling Entertainment spearheading those relationships and fielding talents out as part of their contractual duties. She was fallout from last month's edict. Something he really forgot to mention. And it doesn't fall in the etc. category because it was the breaking point as far as Zelina Vega and the WWE relationship goes. For those that don't know, this is how it played out today on social media. This afternoon, Zelina Vega, and you might remember recently my discussion about Zelina Vega and Paige more than anything as far as, addressing social media with the stuff with Twitch and everything. And Mish and I had a conversation about Zelina Vega and what she said with Aleister Black on YouTube. Well, today, let's go one step back. You might remember a couple of weeks ago, Paige had written that she was looking into union attorneys, labor attorneys, to see how she could fight this situation. Take note. This is very important. Take note that Paige is still on Twitch. She did a video yesterday, and WWE has not released her. I said a month ago, not Andrew Yang, but Paige is probably going to be the most important person in what is going on with the WWE, with the third-party accounts. Now, Zelina Vega showed support for Paige as well, but so did others. So anyway, today on social media, on Twitter, Zelina Vega posts this. Now pay attention to the time, 5:46 p.m. I support unionization. Now, the interesting thing about this is I am 100% in support 100% in support of Paige. I'm 100% in support of Zelina Vega and others. Mish and I had that debate on Monday, 2 weeks ago, about this. So I need to preface what I'm about to say. I support their fight against WWE, although, in my true, humble opinion, unionizing WWE would be a treacherous mistake on wrestlers. You unionize the wrestlers. You watch how their pay nosedives. You watch how the salaries go down. And you realize that being in a union, surely it protects your job security. But once you pay union dues and your salary goes down, and the business has to now classify them as employees, and now the business has to change the way they pay taxes, and also they have to provide health coverage, workers' comp, disability coverage. And when you see WWE suddenly offers their talents $30,000 less, $50,000 less, you wanted a union. Some people out there prefer to be independent contractors because they are in control of their own income. WWE, it's a little bit of a different situation. Some people want their cake and eat it too. Now, yeah, WWE, has been monopolizing this independent contractor situation, but no court has ruled against them. So, as I've said 1,000 times before, Andrew Yang truly means well. He absolutely means well. But Andrew Yang is not more powerful in the courts. So, when this ends up in the court, that's why, like I say, when Chris Van Vliet, who's your favorite wrestler? When you interviewed Andrew Yang, who's your favorite wrestler? What do you like about this? What do you think about this? What do you like that? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? Notice how he never said, hey, Andrew, how come WWE keeps winning in the courts? And how would that change? So until the courts start ruling otherwise against WWE, nothing is going to change. So, yeah, Metallica. Cody even said that creating a union would ruin the business. I think Eric Bischoff said it as well. Look, I understand why Paige and Zelina and others feel a union would help, because it gives them a little bit more leverage and security and this and that. But unfortunately, you get this, but you lose this. Like I said, I'm staying away from politics. But you already hear the rumblings. That if Biden does officially become president and he does this big tax increase, you already have stores that are preparing themselves for it. And you see, this business raised their membership fees by $30 a year. This place very quietly over the last 2 weeks, raised their food prices $1 here, $2 here, $3 here, $2 here. COVID? We're going to give everybody a loan and this and that. And if you keep your employers, then you don't have to pay back the loan. And I've told you already. And I'll reveal it. I don't give a shit. I'll even show you next week if you want. Cross Bay Diner. That is the diner I have been talking about. I don't care if I out them because I ain't fucking going there ever again. Cross Bay Diner. If anybody wants to be entertained, go on Google, type in Cross Bay Diner, Howard Beach, New York. Look at their menu from January and look at it now. A cheeseburger deluxe in January was $8.95 with fries, I might add. If you buy that same cheeseburger deluxe now, it is almost $30. What happened to price gouging? Amazon. I brought this up in April. Has anything changed? Go on Amazon and type in Lysol spray. $30 a can. What happened to Amazon eliminating price gouging? What happened to the government going after price gougers? It's still $25 to $30 a can on Amazon. What about April? I told you this was going to happen. It came out a couple of days ago. I forgot to mention it. Remember when I said that venues, Ticketmaster, and concerts and sporting events are going to require people to be vaccinated, or they're not, or a COVID test, or they're not going to be allowed in the building. Did you see the news that came out 2 days ago from Ticketmaster? Ticketmaster is seriously considering requiring a COVID test or vaccination in order to go to a concert. Remember the whole conversation we had? Everybody thought we were nuts. It's happening. It's happening. Now, we'll talk about that another time, but here's getting back to Zelina Vega now. All right? And this is what Mike Johnson left out. And he left out the most important issue with this. I talked to 4 people tonight that I know personally. 3 of them actually are on TV, wrestling. 1 works behind the scenes, trying to find out what happened. And I will tell you that 3 of the 4, that all 4 have not spoken to Zelina Vega, but 3 of the 4 were pretty convinced that Zelina Vega may have worked out with WWE that she was going to leave the company, that this was more on Zelina Vega leaving than anything else. But here's where WWE, in my opinion, is really fucked up, okay? What a lot of you may not know, you know OnlyFans? OnlyFans? A lot of women are on there. They show nudes, but OnlyFans originally was not meant to be like for nudes and this and that. Well, I invite any of you out there to go on OnlyFans and search the name Megan Minx, MEGANMINX, okay? Megan Minx. That is Zelina Vega's OnlyFans account. Now, when WWE gave the October 30th deadline to pull your Twitch accounts and Patreon for some, and even some of the stuff on YouTube, Zelina Vega, because OnlyFans was never discussed, Zelina Vega set up an OnlyFans account. She set it up under the name Megan Minx, and basically what she's doing is she's cosplaying. She's wearing cosplay outfits. Now, I know a lot of you out there, especially on Twitter, have seen Zelina Vega dress up in lots of different costumes. So Zelina Vega set up an OnlyFans where there's no nudes, but she was just dressing up in costumes. That's it. And Zelina Vega would give people the opportunity, if they wanted, to actually purchase outfits or photos. All right. Now, I want to read you a little clip of Zelina Vega's OnlyFans account. Okay. She says, and I quote, "No nudes. This would be exclusive and some never before seen photos and videos of my cosplays, lingerie, swimsuits, and more. To buy personalized photo sets that won't be posted anywhere else, you choose the cosplay look, and you could choose an outfit, cosplay theme, lingerie, or a swimsuit. And again, no nudes. And they could even send an outfit. And the prices would include the purchase of an outfit and photos. 1 photo, $500. 5 photos, $750. 10 photos, $1,000. So Zelina Vega, and you could join the OnlyFans and pay $30 a month just to be a subscriber and to see her stuff. But what Mike Johnson and everybody else left out is when everything was going down with Twitch and Patreon more than anything else, and WWE was telling them you got to shut it all down, Zelina Vega launched the OnlyFans account, thinking that she could get around this. And WWE said, not allowing it. When you realize the amount of followers that Zelina Vega has across all social media platforms, and you realize that on the OnlyFans account, there were people willing to pay between $500 and $1,000 for her just to dress up. And WWE said, nope, that's it. It's not as simple as that, but the OnlyFans situation was like the breaking point of this whole situation. So it comes down to two things. Either she was fed up with it and wanted out, or because of everything that's been going on and the situation with OnlyFans, they let her go. Now, the thing is that, you know, WWE, and I'm not defending them, but WWE is not stupid. WWE knows, especially in light of what Andrew Yang said, and it looks like Biden could very well be our next president, that this starts a snowball on social media. Take note, they have not let go of Paige. They have not released Paige. Paige has done a lot more damage for WWE in the PR department than Zelina Vega ever did. All Zelina Vega did in the past was show support of what Paige was saying, and she supports unions. So if you're going to release anybody, you're going to release Paige before you release Zelina Vega. Now, you look at this in one way. You say, okay, WWE is flexing their muscles. All right, you want to play the union route? We'll let you go. Scare everybody into keeping their mouth shut. I don't buy that. I'm not in the WWE's camp with this. I just had the debate with Mish about this. I'm in the camp that, and I understand our debate was that Twitch is a direct competitor of YouTube, and YouTube has got a relationship with WWE, this and that, but OnlyFans doesn't. OnlyFans, she's wearing outfits, has nothing to do with wrestling. She's even using a different character's name. WWE still pulled their muscle on that and saying no, none, zero, nada. So, in my opinion, the conversations that I had today, that what led to her being let go, we obviously got to get it straight from Zelina Vega. I'm not going to come up here and say she was let go because of this, and this. You know, Mike Johnson, the goof, saying that Zelina Vega's release was fallout from last month's edict. No, never mentioned setting up the OnlyFans account while this was all going on. Nothing whatsoever. So this could end up being that when WWE balked at the OnlyFans account and with everything else going on, could have been Zelina Vega's decision to move on. So we will find out soon. But for all these people out there saying that, oh, Aleister Black is going to follow her, leaving WWE, you know, that's just people guessing. That's just people using raw emotion and thinking that they're Aleister Black. Sorry, everybody. You don't know what's going on in Aleister Black's head. Lana still works for WWE, and Miro is in AEW. You know, these people act like they know what's going on. None of us know what the next step is in their situation. Now, Zelina Vega tonight posted another statement. Now, let me also add one other thing that I think is very, very important. When this tweet came out at 5:46, and then this came out 10 minutes later, okay, it now turns into, you know, what came first? You know the phrase, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Now, some people actually took that literally. Don't ask me why. But there's a phrase, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So now you look at this in face value. Zelina Vega writes at 5:46 she supports unionizing. 10 minutes later, WWE posts a release. From what I understand, Zelina Vega the release was already done. She was already aware of it, and she still had access to that Twitter account. So she posted the support of unionization to basically give a little tease that the release has to do with everything that has gone on. But from what I was told by numerous people today, that the OnlyFans account is the straw that broke the camel's back. So you will find out very, very soon if Zelina Vega requested her release, or if once the OnlyFans account was set up, that WWE said, all right, you know, stop fucking with us. They didn't say that, but you get my point. WWE said, no Twitch, no this, no this. You didn't say anything about OnlyFans, and I'm not using my name, and I'm dressing up in outfits, and I'm not, nothing about it has anything to do with WWE. Yeah, nice try. And that's pretty much is like, they're not letting me fucking do anything. And let's also be honest, Zelina Vega is not high on the food chain. She's not banking in the mega bucks that a lot of other people are getting. So if she can make a little bit of money wearing outfits and WWE, so tell me how OnlyFans is in competition with WWE, you know? So the bottom line is that we will find out very, very soon. But don't go the clickbait route that a lot of people do. You know, there's so many people out there that they basically say they don't give a shit about the situation, but they'll tweet 10 times about it. They're just using that to get attention to themselves. But there's a lot more to this story. And I think out of respect of Zelina Vega, especially if you care about Zelina Vega, even a little bit, let her explain further what went down. She may end up taking a lot of the high road on this, because tonight on the WWE social media account, now she may end up keeping an account and just change the screen name, the handle. But tonight on the same WWE Zelina account, she says, and I quote, I want to say thank you all for very much for the last 3 to 4 years, WWE Universe. It was incredible. I would have never been able to say, this is for you, Dad, if certain people did not believe in me. I love you all, and I couldn't have done it without your support. So she's staying classy with this. I'm sure she is extremely frustrated with what's going on. But, you know, this is going to be very interesting to see where it goes from here. And yeah, it's very easy for us to jump down the throats of WWE saying, wow, look what they did and this and that. You know, but there's a little bit more to this. And yes, again, let me remind you, when I debated Mish, I am in favor of allowing these people to have a third-party account as long as it's not in direct. You know, I don't think WWE is going to have anything that resembles of an OnlyFans where people are cosplaying. I mean, look how petty it is. Tonight on SmackDown, did you hear WWE reference Sasha Banks and The Mandalorian? You anything? I mean, just to show you like how shallow that they are. You know, that in some cases they will not put any attention to it whatsoever. And that is terrible. That is terrible. So I am in total support of Zelina Vega, but I remind you all, WWE has not released Paige. And if it was as simple that, oh, Zelina Vega tweets about unions and WWE let her go because of it, Zelina Vega is much lower in this situation than Paige is. So don't buy into what people are trying to convince you, because there's going to be little important parts of this story that have been left out that you're going to realize that these people don't have a clue. So, but that's pretty much the deal of what's going on. So, couple of super chat feedbacks. Jeremy Westbrook, unions have been a touchy subject since the 80s. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. Especially with Vince, he could see why he probably flipped out. Oh, yeah. You know, WWE feels threatened by this. But remember, WWE is a billion-dollar company, and WWE is making record profits right now with no fucking house shows. Oh, and speaking of house shows, let me just nip this in the bud now. Some of the most moronic stories that are floating around right now. How many of you saw this in the last 24 hours? WWE will never return to house shows. Are these people on crack? I mean, seriously. I mean, I can understand if you haven't gotten laid in 10 years and you go to a club and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you've had a couple of drinks and you're horny as fuck and you pretty much fuck anything, including the hole in the wall if nobody was looking. But is that desperate for attention to make a clickbait article that WWE will never return to house shows? What are you, fucking stupid? They're not doing house shows right now because of the virus and the vaccinations. And even when the vaccine comes out, there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to get vaccinated. And this is going to be a court issue. I told you this in April. There's going to be a court issue where is it constitutional or is a business allowed to require people to be vaccinated in order to work for them? We already had this discussion. But the idea that WWE is they're not using for the foreseeable future. They're using the word never. Any of those people that do that, please ignore them. They don't even know what the fuck they're saying. I read that today and I'm like, these are people, understand something. The people that ripped Miro for going to AEW, once that wore off, and, the crotch area is all stretched out and it's not enjoyable anymore and it's too loose. Now all of a sudden, everybody should be able to work wherever they want. These people, most of these people that are telling you what the business decision should be, so ZELINA VEGA, Aleister Black, Miro, Lana, Kermit the Frog, these are people that don't even work themselves. How are you going to take business advice from someone that can't even work a paper route? So anybody that's telling you that WWE's never returning to house shows, they just let go Tony Chimmel. And they just let go another guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he had been working for the WWE since the 90s. But his main role was venue merchandise. They're not going back to house shows on a regular basis, possibly for another year. Another year. So they're not going to keep payroll for people for another year simply because it's the right thing to do. They're a business. They're a publicly traded company. They're not going to just piss away money because it just looks good. So that's the reason. Tony Chimmel, for a lot of people that don't know this, when WWE was doing house shows, Tony Chimmel would be the one doing a lot of the announcing. You wouldn't have JoJo when she was still around before the pregnancies. You wouldn't have, anyone else that's doing it. Tony Chimmel would do a lot of that. WWE is not returning to a regular house show schedule for the foreseeable future. It could be a year. Until this virus is totally in control and pretty much eliminated in a majority, nobody is returning back. Saying that WWE is never going to go back to house shows is like saying a musician will never perform in concert again to a live crowd. That is just an asinine, stupid thing to say. It's clickbait. It gets your attention, but it's not true. It's just not true. So it's going to be a while still. Like I said, and again, I keep referencing April because it is old news for all of us. But even when this vaccination comes out, even if it's available for everyone, think of it as the flu shot. Half our country never gets a flu shot. Some people think it gives their kids autism. Some people are afraid of allergic reactions. Not everybody in my family's ever been in favor of flu shots. Me, I always get one every year. It's just me. But I have customers. I talk to my customers all the time. My customers will say to me, what do you think is going to happen with the vaccine? What do you think this? What do you think that? And, some people have said, you're going to get it as soon as it comes out. I said, if I could get it, even if I have to pay for it, even if I have to go to another state, if my governor won't let it available in New York yet. And I've had some customers say to me, I ain't getting it done right now. What if there's allergic reactions? What if something goes wrong? So there is going to be there's going to be tens of millions of Americans that will never get the COVID vaccine. Never. Never. So until it is really under control, WWE is not returning to a regular house show schedule. Neither is about 90% of other entertainment. So ignore that crap. Ignore that stupidity. Ignore that. Because what will happen is a year from now or 9 months from now, 6 months from now, and things really start to get in check, you're going to see, oh, WWE's reconsidering having house shows. They lied in the first place. That's how they're going to cover it up. They're going to see WWE's reconsidering it. Ignore it, man. Ignore it. So, we'll talk about SmackDown in a moment. Let's see, a couple other comments. Jeremy also says, no wonder why she got fired. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. But again, I don't want to use the term that Zelina got fired. It is not clear cut if she asked for her release or not. I know the OnlyFans situation was really, the one that broke, that this was the tipping point. So again, until we hear from her herself, we don't know if she requested a release. She's like, fuck this, man. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't generate this. I can't do this. Zelina Vega, personally, in my opinion, I truly believe this. Twitch, OnlyFans, YouTube. She's got enough fans out there. She could be banking serious money. Possibly more than what she's making in WWE. If she takes the high road and does her thing on the third-party accounts and is doing well, there's always the chance that she could return a year from now, 2 years from now, 3. You don't know. Maybe she never returns. But don't immediately think that Zelina Vega is going to do a shoot interview and out everybody and throw everybody under the bus. Not everybody operates that way. I know a lot of people out there love the dirt. Look at social media. 90% of what you read is dirt. It's garbage. So don't immediately think that Zelina Vega is going to have this earth-shattering, revealing thing. She will be honest with her fans, but don't immediately think that there's a shitstorm coming. But if she decided that, look, I'm not giving up all my rights, and this, in my opinion, is not, going against WWE, but we had a difference of opinion, and, it's time for me to go. That may end up being the case. So I would not use the term. Look, it could very well end up being that WWE just said, look, that's it. You're out of here. It could be it. But until you get some specific info from Zelina Vega, trust me. And like I say, I try not to use this on me, but you could trust me on this. I mean, one thing is for certain. Usually the conversations you and I have end up being spot on. Not just with wrestling storylines. Hey, didn't I say 2 weeks ago, Murphy is probably just setting up Rollins, and Murphy will, quote unquote, get accepted by Rey Mysterio and family? And sure enough, that's what happened today on SmackDown. Now, people are wondering, what's the next doozy? Aaliyah's not a wrestler. And you remember when I compared this storyline to Test and Stephanie from the 90s? I'm not saying that there's going to be an evil Triple H involved with this, but I'm wondering if we get a pregnancy angle. I'm starting to think, because every part of this storyline with Aaliyah and Murphy, we have nailed it. I mean, people were laughing at me 7-8 weeks ago, and I said, I think they're going to do a love angle with Aaliyah and Murphy. I don't know why. I just feel there's going to be a Romeo. What are you, stupid? There was even no hint of it at the time. So, look, she is not a wrestler. She's not training to be a wrestler as far as I know. So if you're going to keep having her go out there and not be physically assaulted in any way, the easiest way to get around that is a pregnancy angle. If she's pregnant, you're not going to have her take a bump. She doesn't have to take a bump. She's not going to do an intergender match. She's not going to get physical. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, and I don't even know if I want that to happen. We got to see the potted plant tonight. Angie, she made a return. So if you ask me, since Aaliyah is not wrestling, you got to do a storyline where wrestling is out of the question. And for me, pregnancy angle. Remember that conversation, everybody. Remember that. Phillip Maffei, if Paige keeps doing what she's doing, do you think it's possible WWE release? Yeah. This is coming to a head. Right now, there's a pot of water on the stove, and you ever like boil water to make pasta or tea, and you fill up the pot a little bit too much, and when it starts boiling, it overflows? Right now, the pot is boiling, but it hasn't overflowed yet, and there's going to be a part where it overflows. I'll tell you this much. I'll say this also about Zelina Vega, and I think this is really, really smart. I just thought about this right now. Pay very close attention of what Paige says in this situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Paige brings Zelina Vega on her channel to have a chat. If Paige doesn't immediately rip WWE, because look, she was like, I'm sick and tired of this. I can't deal with this with my employer. If none of that comes out, and if she doesn't say anything like WWE's fucked up for letting her go, if there's no references like that, that might be a little sign that maybe it's not cut and dry that WWE just fired Zelina Vega like that. But this idea that it was a culmination of what happened a month earlier, that's stupid. Very stupid. So, are you serious, Steve? Unbelievable. Oh, wait till you all see this. Chelsea Green broke her wrist tonight. I'm not happy about that. Smackdown tonight, they did another qualifying match. Man, Smackdown is milking these Survivor Series teams. The Survivor Series teams on the Smackdown side are a little bit weak. And they are milking this shit because they don't want fans to rip for 3 weeks. Look at this fucking team. It's like Bianca Belair and everybody else. You know, Chelsea Green tonight in a qualifying match, her first Smackdown match, I believe. She didn't win it, but she broke her wrist. Damn, man. Damn. We'll talk about Smackdown in a moment, but damn, Steve, that's terrible. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I'm not saying that Chelsea Green was going to win this match tonight, but I know a lot of people online, when they were reacting to this match, they're like, wow, she didn't do all that much. And I'm wondering, maybe the broken wrist was the factor. But yeah, man. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So, yeah, well, we wish her well. I'm dead serious. I have nothing against Chelsea Green whatsoever. You know, I'm just I don't know, it's like a reaction. You know, when you breathe in pepper, you just get that reaction to sneeze. When something negative happens to Chelsea Green, I get this like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So, sorry. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's one of only 3 people that have me blocked on Twitter still, believe it or not. That guy blocked, and I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's funny, people out there that say they don't care when they're blocked on Twitter, but they'll make sure to tell you 200 times that somebody blocked them on Twitter. But I'm only mentioning only because Chelsea Green broke her wrist tonight. But I actually, you know, it's just pretty funny that some people just are so thin-skinned. But just to show you how many years it's been. I mean, when I first said that his career was at a peak when he had the feud with Kane, I mean, that's like, what, 10 years ago? I've been blocked all this time. Kid you not. So, but in a way it's good because then I don't have to see, you know, like, you know, best wishes to my honey tonight. Woo, woo, woo. Impact Wrestling this weekend. Believe it or not, everyone, it's Turning Point. It's Turning Point. Tomorrow on pay-per-view, Rich Swann defends the Impact World Championship. Nice story. It does not feel like a main event match for me, to be honest with you. I think Rich Swann retains the title over Sami Callihan. Su Yung defending the Impact Championship against Deonna Purrazzo. You might remember 2 weeks ago, I said I think Deonna Purrazzo will be getting that belt back sooner or later. I'm not saying that she would actually win it tomorrow, but one thing I think we could all agree on, if she does win it, then we can honestly say that the reason why Impact put the belt on Su Yung was to divert the fact that Kylie Rae did not show, for obvious reasons. She's got some issues, personally, but that was to just shift that subject as quickly as possible. Let's do the storyline that Deonna was not ready to face Su Yung. She was training to face Kylie Rae. I almost said Kaylee Ray. Always mix them up. But if she drops the belt this quick, then you could see that was the audible that Impact tried to do to divert attention on what happened with that match. Because that was a huge storyline that Impact was pushing. Kylie Rae versus Deonna Purrazzo was pushed heavily by them. Metallica says, I don't miss anything. Ryder only posts about toys. Who's Ryder? I don't know who Ryder is. Oh, Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. By the way, people keep asking me, how come he's not in AEW? He's never under contract. They gave him, what's that offer that AEW has? Like the tier 1 deal, 5 appearances, and that was it, The North defending the Impact Tag Team Championships against the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. As much as I want to see Gallows and Anderson win those belts, I think this is designed to try to get the North a little bit more attention. So I have no problem with Ethan Page and Josh Alexander retaining the belts. I think that they will. Brian Myers versus Swoggle. I tell you, man, I like Brian Myers. The Kurt Hawkins. I like him. But, just think about that. Where all the comedians on social media, they only watch Roman Reigns, like they don't pay attention to other feds. I would be all over this that Brian Myers is now in Impact and he's relegated to wrestle a midget. Hornswoggle. It's going to be a comedy match. I think Brian Myers, to get some heel heat, I think Brian Myers has got to do what King Kong Bundy did to what? The Haiti Kid? Was it the Haiti Kid? Or was it Little Beaver? Little Beaver. Speaking of Little Beaver, was it Little? I think it was Little Beaver. Brian Myers has got to do something absolutely terrible to Swoggle. I don't want to see a comedy thing where Swoggle goes over on top. Like that whole mess with Chavito. Jamie is saying that he's doubting the Chelsea Green injury. He's not finding any sources online, and Green's Twitter account is not mentioning anything. Thank you, Jamie. I'd like to, look, I was not reporting it. Like I said, I posted a super chat that somebody said that she broke her wrist. So, maybe that person, let me know where you got that from. But now Dorian says that it is legit. Well, you know what? Woo, woo, woo. Once I know it, then you'll know it. Woo, woo, woo. Moose against Willie Mack. I tell you, I think Willie Mack needs to get a victory in this. I'll go Willie Mack. Tennille Dashwood and Jordynne Grace versus Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. I think Jordynne Grace and Tennille Dashwood should get the win. Oh, thank you, Steven. WWE confirmed it. So, yeah, she's got the broken wrist. So we sincerely, hope that she could get back quickly. Hopefully it's not a real serious break, because there are different grades of fracture. So hopefully, it's something, minor, and she doesn't miss too much in-ring time. So I'll find out. Look, by Monday, I'll have more information on her injury. So seriously, all jokes aside with the Zack Ryder stuff, whatever, I wish her nothing but the best. Seriously. I forgot his name for a minute. Like I was like Cardona, Matt Cardona. That's what it is. Matt Cardona. Daivari versus Eddie Edwards. I got to go with Eddie Edwards there. Triple XL, which is AC Romero and Larry D, versus Chris Sabin and James Storm. Now I feel like Chris Sabin and James Storm are there to help elevate some other stars, so I'm going to go with Triple XL. And Rohit Raju versus, to be announced, for the X Division Championship. I don't care who is announced. I'm going to go with Rohit Raju to win. Thank you, Stephen, for the kind words. They said the left wrist was broken. Yeah, I'll get the information. I'll definitely get the information. So, anybody that's interested, believe it or not, 205 Live, yeah, it's still on the air. Tonight is the 205th episode of 205 Live. Kid you not. 205, episode 205. And what they're doing tonight, they're doing a 5-way number 1 contenders match. It's going to be Kurt Stallion, August Gray. I still can't get past that name. I don't know who the fuck came up with that. Like I said, I know some of you out there think it sounds like a porn star's name, like August Gray. And I could see where that is. For me, to me, it's more like a makeup color. Like I could picture somebody going to a spa. You know, what eyeshadow would you like? You know, we're in the fall. You know, maybe like a pumpkin bronze. You know, maybe something like brown because the leaves are changing colors. Well, even though we're in November, what about like a nice August gray? You know, just an August gray. You know, that's actually, it's like makeup color. But Austin Gray, Ashante Adonis, Tony Nese, and Arya Davari, they're going to face off in a 5-way. The winner is going to get a future cruiserweight title shot against, oh my God, Santos Escobar. Brain fart. Oh, I can't wait to talk about the quarter-hour ratings. I feel bad for somebody. We'll talk about it later. Now, of those, I tell you, I would like August Gray, goofy name and all. I'd like August Gray to get it. Something tells me they may give the shot to Ashante Adonis. WWE is trying to get a little momentum for Ashante Adonis. Maybe this match with Santos Escobar will help. By the way, for all of you out there that have been hearing this news that WWE does not really have any legitimate credibility in Leon Ruff, and him winning the North American Championship was like satire. Trust me when I tell you, WWE likes Leon Ruff's ability a lot. Should he have gotten the North American title this soon? Yeah, that's a storyline, and I don't think he's holding the title all that long. But people out there that are saying that WWE is just considering the Leon Ruff a joke, that's unfair. That's totally unfair to Leon Ruff, because they actually do think that this guy has some legit ability. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Steven is asking me, when do I think Karrion Kross is coming back? He's been posting videos without the sling. Oh, he's rehabbing. I mean, a lot of us thought a couple of months ago that he could come back around Royal Rumble time. Problem is that there's no guarantee yet that NXT stars will be in the Royal Rumble. Look, a lot of people were reporting that NXT was going to be part of Survivor Series, and you see how that ended up. So if they have NXT stars in the Royal Rumble, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a return in the Royal Rumble. Me personally, I know he has been training. I don't want to say to the level of obsessiveness, because Karrion Kross has always been a crazy motherfucker in the gym. That guy trains and is just real. It's not just as far as in the ring, but he is really into health and nutrition, and not just health physically, but mentally as well, emotionally. That man is ahead of schedule. So I tell you, in a perfect world, I'd love to see him confront Finn Balor. Seriously, it's probably too soon for that, but it's also too soon for Finn Balor. So if Finn Balor does not have to relinquish that title, I personally would love to see a confrontation with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. You let that brew for a couple of weeks. You could have milk that for 3 weeks and then maybe have them do something. So I wouldn't rule that out of the question, because 3 weeks from now would be in December already. And Finn Balor, that match he had with Kyle O'Reilly was 5 weeks ago. This coming Wednesday will make it 6 weeks. And Finn Balor was already the champion for a little while. So you're talking Karrion Kross out of action already for 2 months. So, I personally think he's going to need more time. But, for me, the safe bet would probably be around Royal Rumble time. But if he is really ahead of schedule, could be sooner. Could be sooner. So, thank you, Jay Carlos. I'll check out Twitter after. He sent me the information on Chelsea Green. So, and by the way, that episode, I wanted to tell you before, I just didn't get a chance yet. That infamous episode that we did with the Chris Benoit tragedy, it's on DonTony.com. If you just type in Benoit in the search box, the episode will come up. I actually put it back online about a week ago. I just forgot to send you the message. So, but anyway, so that is your Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. It's coming up tomorrow. I would watch it. I mean, I wouldn't pay that price, though, especially that they just did Bound for Glory. It's a solid card. I mean, but, if you could get it at a discount, I mean, I know it's not right to, say if you could watch it for free, but, it's some of these pay-per-views, I mean, I'm a little blown away that they have the balls to ask for that kind of money, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand we're in COVID, but then again, if a deli could charge $3, $4, $5 more for a hero, I guess these wrestling companies have every right to try to charge that kind of money. I just personally feel, you see, like Talk Shop of Mania, $14.95. Yes, the overhead is not a big expense, and most of the people that are on, they only got paid a couple of $100 to be there. But my honest opinion, you charge $15. You probably make more money charging $15 than if you charge $30. I know some people right now are saying, like, DT, what the hell are you talking about? But it's true. If you offer something at a very reasonable price, someone even casually may order it just to be entertained for 2 hours. So trust me, I think Talk Shop of Mania has a better chance. Put it this way. If you want to go $15 or $30, I think they have a better chance getting more than, let's say, 40,000 pay-per-view buys at $15 than 20,000 pay-per-view buys at $30. At the end of the day, it comes out to the same amount of money. But I think with that price, it's very reasonable, and a lot of people are going to buy it because it's not breaking the bank. So, and you want to know something? I brought up this comparison before, and I'll just throw it out there right now. And by the way, if you're enjoying the show, I really appreciate it, if you gave it a thumbs up. I actually watched a couple of videos in the last day or two. I was bored trying to understand the YouTube thing a little bit further. That's why I'm omitting commercials during the shows from now on. But, I'm starting to understand, like, how important it is that if you interact and, the length of your viewing and giving thumbs up or even thumbs down. So if you're really enjoying it, and even if you're not, give it a thumbs down, if that's what you want to do. But, that's how you could help me tremendously without, taking anything out of your pocket. So, but anyway, so let's see. What do we have left? We got... what are we doing on time? Hour and a half? Okay. Well, we'll be done within 2 hours. Absolutely. All right. Not too bad. I can't complain. We got 2 things left to talk about. I'll let you choose which one we get into now. Do we talk about Smackdown, or do we do the quarter-hour breakdowns of AEW and NXT? For those on audio only, like I say before, there's like an 8-second delay with video. That's why I usually ramble for a couple extra sentences. But I'm going to let the live chat dictate what we talk about next. We talk about Smackdown and the ratings, majority rules. Right now, it's even, same number of people. By the time I finish taking this sip of soda, wow, it's still, club soda. Slight ahead for ratings. Wow, look at that. Should I do both? SmackDown opens up with Roman Reigns. Quarter hour one. You know what? Let's do SmackDown first. It's not a hard show for us to get into. It's not going to take all that long. Overall, I thought SmackDown tonight was a decent show. If you did not watch our Monday show, Mish and I had a discussion about it. The number one thing, and some of you know what I'm going to say, the number one thing that WWE has done a piss-poor job with Survivor Series this year. And I understand, we're in the middle of COVID, but these wrestlers are tested. When they're in the ring, there is no question in WWE's eyes that everybody who is in the ring and a character not wearing a mask doesn't have COVID. WWE has done a piss poor, pathetic job this year of having the brands invade the other brands. How it wasn't that long ago, and I mentioned this on Monday, it wasn't that long ago with Kurt Angle with the walkie-talkie. It's on! Security! It's on! Where is all that? Brand supremacy? Nobody shows up on the other brands. Monday, we just had that conversation that they have done almost nothing. Drew McIntyre shows up today. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I like Drew McIntyre. It was good to see him on there. Nobody else? Nobody? Lashley don't give a fuck? New Day don't give a fuck? That was horrendous. Horrendous. And when we went off the air tonight, you have Drew McIntyre in the face of Roman Reigns, that Drew McIntyre is going to win the belt Monday, and then he's going to face Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. 9:59. Roman Reigns just walks away. Here we go off the air. I'm like, wow, was that pretty uneventful? Now, again, it was nice to see Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. I don't know what the fuck that was with an unsanctioned match with still referees there and everything else. Tell me what was different about it. I don't know what the fuck was different about it. And by the way, you have wrestlers that show up on one brand or the other. Didn't we just have Cesaro and Nakamura show up on Raw to take on the Street Profits not too long ago? Was that unsanctioned? I don't think so. So anyway, SmackDown opens up tonight. Roman Reigns enters the ring. Roman Reigns asks Paul Heyman, I'm looking at some of my notes that I took, so if you see me keep going like this, that's why. He asks Paul Heyman, what does he call this place? And Paul Heyman says it's the Island of Relevancy. The Island of Relevancy. And anyone that steps in the ring with Roman Reigns becomes relevant. Roman Reigns talks about Jey Uso, that before fans didn't think that Jey Uso could be a single star or know who he is. Now he's a main eventer, and a little stretch, but it's okay. And Roman Reigns promises that Jey Uso will lead his Survivor Series team to victory. Roman Reigns then moves on to Randy Orton, and basically he says that Randy Orton is proof that you can appreciate and respect the accolades in a man, but you don't necessarily have to respect the man. And then he takes a funny shot at Raw, saying, like, nobody watches Raw. Everybody watches SmackDown, and everybody watches SmackDown for me. And he says that at Survivor Series, he's going to beat WWE's secondary champion. Ouch. Drew McIntyre's music hits. He goes in the ring. He reminds Roman Reigns that the last time they faced each other was at the Royal Rumble, and Drew McIntyre eliminated Roman Reigns to win the match. He talked about beating Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns says he respects Drew McIntyre, but Roman Reigns is back now. McIntyre pretty much talks about how he was around when Roman Reigns wasn't. And Drew McIntyre promised that he was going to beat Randy Orton on Monday win back the WWE Championship, and then it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Now, on Monday, I said that I think there is a very good chance that Sheamus attacks Drew McIntyre, costing Drew McIntyre the win on Monday. Drew McIntyre has no match for Survivor Series, and maybe Drew McIntyre is the reason that Sheamus gets eliminated from the Survivor Series team at Survivor Series. I'm still going with that, but the amount of interaction that they had tonight with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns starting to make me think that Roman Reigns may show up on Raw Monday. Wouldn't be surprised. I understand not a lot of you out there are really enamored with Sheamus causing Drew McIntyre to win, but I think we could all agree that it doesn't feel like Drew McIntyre is winning that belt back on Monday. So we will see what happens. So Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre having this little confrontation, and Jey Uso comes out. Jey Uso challenges Drew McIntyre to a match tonight, and that was that. We come back, and Roman Reigns is reading the riot act to Jey Uso. You would have thought that Jey Uso, beat the fuck out of Afra Sika. And, this is what I said is the difference between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley is more based on real reality, deep emotion, storyline. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso is more about characters, and I look, Roman Reigns is knocking it out of the park with his character. But when you get that angry and you're emphasizing it, you're the tribal chief, I feel like it's too like children doing that. You addressed me as this, and I'm the leader of this, and I put the food on the table, and I did this, and I did that, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is a little bit hokey for me, for my standards. But, Roman Reigns, that pissed off. Simply because Jey Uso wants to beat the balls out of Drew McIntyre. That was just odd. It just didn't fit. It didn't make sense. Yeah, he's acting like Trump when he might have lost the election. So now we get another match that, honestly, I understand why they did it. Because for 3 minutes, they wanted to do the thing, we might get Apollo versus Bobby Lashley again. If Apollo wins the IC title, yeah, I don't think so. Sami Zayn beats him. A little bit of a creative finish. Basically, Sami Zayn pulled out the ring apron skirt, and Apollo Crews, he got pushed into the side of the ring. They've done that before. And Apollo Crews, I've fallen and I can't get up. And they count Apollo Crews out of the match. It was kind of blah, not bad, but blah. Listen, everybody, I just noticed, I accidentally closed the big bubble, the one that usually goes over there. I accidentally just closed it just now. But if you send a super chat like this gentleman just did, I could still show it over here. The 90s guy, what's up? This is the 70s guy. Roman Reigns is the one good thing WWE has at the moment, and he loves my work. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Roman Reigns, you see, this is why I don't criticize Roman Reigns' work, because WWE is more character driven. They got to really push tribal chief with everything. Look at Seth Rollins and Murphy. These are two grown-ass adults in the back arguing. Disciple? No, wait. Disciple? What's Murphy again? Oh my God, I'm drawing a brain fart. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Messiah? Disciple? Disciple? Messiah? Messiah? Disciple? Messiah? It's not their fault, it's the storyline. But it's like people get mad for not calling them nicknames. I'm your tribal chief. I'm your messiah. This is my yard. This is my universe. This is my this. This is my kingdom. This is my planet. This is my world. Grow up. What is it, the game of fucking life? So WWE is more of the character. So I don't find fault in Roman Reigns doing that. It's WWE's writing sometimes, man. It's just like, I don't know, you know, like, yeah, I know they got like the 18 to 49 demographic and the 18 to 34. I think this is just like, you know, I don't even know what they're trying to target there. I don't know, man. Messiah, disciple, Messiah. Thank God we didn't have thank God Austin Theory fucked up. I mean, I don't condone him fucking up, but I mean, what would he have been? Messiah, disciple, porn, not porn, you know, disciple, Messiah, porn. It's like a chessboard. Seriously, WWE should have came out with a chessboard. I'm not kidding. If he would have had a couple of more people in it, they could have come out with a chessboard. You know, instead of the king and the queen, it could have been like Messiah, disciple, little disciples. Could have made a chessboard. So, with that said, yeah, thank you. Hey, I appreciate you doing that. You know, I mean, you shouldn't have to do that for a super chat, but I do agree with you. Everyone, at the count of 3, take your greasy little fingers and look on the screen where you see, well, you have to do it with the mouse, I think, and just go like this and click the like button if you're enjoying yourself, enjoying this episode. It's a compliment for me. I'll tell you the truth. You know, when I post like announcements from my shows, and I know some of you see it, you know, like the and you know what's sad about it? And this is pretty funny. Like, there are some people that despise that this channel is growing, that the family is growing here. And I realized that when I post the announcement that a show is coming up, you know, when I create the page, within 2 minutes, there's like 1 or 2 thumbs down. And yeah, I have an idea as far as who does it, but then it hit me. I don't post a preview on Twitter or social media that I'm going to do a show until maybe an hour or 2 before the show goes down. So I may do the preview on YouTube maybe a day early, 16 hours early, but I don't post it anywhere until showtime or very close to it. And I realized that those people that are that angry with me are subscribed and have the alert function set. So they're alerted the minute I post it, I'm going to have another video up, and they run to hit a thumbs down. That's when you know you're doing good. Seriously. Like I said, the ultimate this you could give to people out there is success. You enjoy yourself, it's so bitter. They're so bitter about it. I love it. I love it. You know, because me, like I say, if I don't like the Kardashians. I have never gone on any YouTube pages that feature the Kardashians just to give it a thumbs down, or I just stay away from it. So if I'm that bad, stay away. Stay away. Everyone else will have fun over here. Stay away, please. You'll do everybody a favor. Sasha Banks comes out looking fine. No mention of the Mandalorian. How ridiculous is that? I mean, that's pretty fucking petty. And don't say, oh, WWE just forgot to bring it up. It was all over social media. You know, they could post Sasha Banks going like this. By the way, that originally was on my preview for today's show. I figured some people out there would appreciate that picture of Sasha Banks rolling her eyes up with her tongue sticking out. And I think some people would probably fantasize in some way that she wasn't reacting to bad tasting cough medicine. But obviously I had to redo it because of the situation with Zelina Vega. But, you know, she comes out there, and I agree with you, Who's Dad. I like Sasha Banks. I like her a lot more now than I did a couple of years ago. But she's not a very good baby face. she sounds very conceited, and yes, that's her character. But because she has that lisp, it's like she has to think about the words, and it takes an extra second. Like, you know, I'm not going to start doing the impersonation, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, she's got to emphasize words. Like, she has to open her mouth a little bit bigger to make sure that, and it's fine, but she's not a sympathetic character, and that works for her. That definitely works for her. But, you know, it's just when she talks, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Keith Lee when he cuts his promos. And I look, last year, for about 5 months, I said on Wednesday shows that Keith Lee was my favorite wrestler in NXT. It shifted to Dexter Lumis, and then Keith Lee went to the main roster. But what I've been saying about Keith Lee is that even if Keith Lee, if he wanted a glass of orange juice in the back, you know, like, everything sounds like a promo. It's almost like Mean Gene Okerlund. Remember when Mean Gene Okerlund, even if he was just talking to somebody, like regular conversation, like it would sound like he's having a promo with someone? You know, like Keith Lee's like, you know, this orange juice is delicious. Give me some ice. You know, like everything he says sounds like a promo. Sasha Banks, like when she talks, it doesn't come off smooth. Like she's talking like, you know, regular talk. I told the world, blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes, if you notice with her promos, she has to correct herself. She almost every other promo, she's correcting herself. She'll be like, you know, I am the best in the Smackdown women's division. No, I am the best in the entire WWE women's division. Like everything, every other promo, it's like she says something and then she'll say, no, and then corrects herself. So Bayley's music hits, and my first reaction is, oh, come on. I thought we moved on from this. And by the way, I still think Bayley should have been on Team SmackDown for Survivor Series. I think that is necessary. We don't have that yet. Things could change, but Bayley's music hits. Carmella comes out instead. Attacks Sasha Banks, leaves her laying, and fine. I was fine with the segment. We'll see where it goes from here. Otis. Everybody was saying that Otis is getting jobbed out of the universe. I said last week, everyone, give it time. Otis was on a losing streak. Give it a little time. It'll be fine. It's only one match, but Otis, first they did a comedy segment where he's in the back eating like a slob. Ziggler and Rude are kind of like making fun of him, and he throws the food around, you know. And then it went to commercial, and I don't mind that, but Otis doesn't even look intimidating, angry. He looked like he was about to laugh. He throws the food everywhere, and he had a smirk on his face, like he was about to laugh. They have the match. Otis beats him pretty handedly. After the match, he's in the back, and he's all anxious, excited, and everything, and he gets confronted by Chad Gable. And much love to all of you out there. It's just coincidence, everyone. But the last two shows that I have done, we have been spoofing Pinocchio, and it happened tonight with Chad Gable. Chad Gable pulls out a pamphlet. It's called, what did I write down over here? The Alpha Academy. He thinks that Otis could be a member of the Alpha Academy. And what does he say to Otis? Pretty much, I look around this room and I see nothing but potential. You have potential. You have potential. He actually said Otis has potential. Everybody immediately thought about Pinocchio. You have potential. Now, it wouldn't have been awesome if Chad Gable's nose started growing. Oh, that would have been great. I got to get one of those Pinocchio noses. Seriously, as soon as I'm done with the show tonight, because we'll be done in a few minutes, I'm going to go on Amazon and see if I can buy a Pinocchio nose. Because if we're going to do the potential thing from now on, I got to put the Pinocchio nose on. And if they have one that retracts, that I can hit a button and it goes like this, oh, man, I'm serious. If they have it, I'm buying it. So, anyway, why do I sound like Paul Bearer? He does sound like Paul Bearer. I used to do a great Paul Bearer impersonation. In fact, I promise the Geico thing, the Aflac Duck, I'm going to do it this weekend. So I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday or today. Yesterday I was exhausted. I passed out last night. We gamed for like a half hour and then I fell asleep. I was out cold, so I'll do it this weekend. By the way, I'm wearing the A&W shirt tonight because no Lars. No Lars tonight. I don't know if anybody noticed. No Lars. So shout out to Lars. You're nailing it. You're doing just fine. Ignore the haters. I like Lars. Definitely deserves a chance at redemption. Guy learned his lesson and legitimately paid $100,000 out of his pocket. Just think about that for a minute. As much as you don't like the guy fucking paid a legit $100,000 fine for shit that he said before he became a WWE star. That money was donated. That shows you how much the guy wants it. I give respect for that. I know it's unpopular, but I give him respect for that. Of course, money should not buy you forgiveness. I get that. I understand that. But just goes to show you that the guy really, really is, hell-bent on making this right. So hopefully he doesn't fuck up again. If he fucks up, he deserves the criticism. So, no holds barred match. We already talked about some of it. The potted plant with the nice ass is back again. We got the whole Mysterio family and Ray talking about, tonight was the final chapter, no holds barred. And I'm thinking during this whole night, unless Ray tries to rip the eye out of Seth Rollins' socket, it's going to be a little bit lackluster. The match was not bad. People that were saying tonight on websites and news sites that they were going to use tonight to write off Seth Rollins because Becky Lynch is going to be giving birth soon. I guess they forgot that Seth Rollins is part of Team SmackDown for Survivor Series, but whatever. So this match was very physical, a lot of brawling. Seth Rollins taunting the Mysterio family a couple of times. They were on ringside. At one point, he just throws Ray like a dart right at the feet of the Mysterio family, and they're just watching. And I'm looking at Aaliyah a little bit close, just to see, where this may go tonight. And as the match went on, I pretty much felt what I said 2 weeks ago, that Murphy, when he told Aaliyah to trust him, that this is for the greater good, that this was all a setup. And sure enough, towards the end of the match, there was one point where I thought Ray had injured his knee again, but I don't think that was the case. But, they used tables, chairs, a lot of physicality outside the ring. The match actually was very good. Ray was put through a table. There was one point where Seth Rollins brings a chair in the ring, takes the rubber feet, that are bottom of the chair, to keep it in place, the rubber, I guess I call it feet. But he pulls it off and teases that he's going to try to rip Ray's other eye out, and it backfires. And then, Ray slipped on an invisible banana. It was a weird part towards the end, I'll mention in a second. Seth Rollins brings a chair in the ring, and Ray reverses it, kicks Rollins in the face with it, and Murphy hits the ring. And Murphy hands the chair to Seth Rollins. And it looks like that Murphy is going to help Seth Rollins. Murphy then goes up to Ray, picks up Ray as if he's going to hold Ray so Seth could chair bash him. And then Murphy, kicks Rollins with the chair. Rollins, and again, this is where the goofiness with WWE is. Instead of Rollins, I know they're not going to curse on TV, but instead of Rollins, after just getting kicked in the face with a chair by Murphy, instead of saying like, the fuck you kicked me in the face for? He's like, Messiah, disciple. It was just like, oh my God. It's just like, it was just fucking Halloween. Disciple, Messiah. And, as a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. By the way, earlier in the match, they were doing a little tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Seth Rollins almost did the Three Amigos, but Rey Mysterio does a frog splash off the top rope onto Seth for the win. There was one point that was a little bit It was funny because they tried to say that Seth Rollins pulled the ropes down, but after Murphy hit Rollins with the chair, Rollins is alongside of the ring rope where Ray usually does the 619. And I don't know if he just like slipped with his hands or something, but he went to do the 619 and it looked like he almost fell out of the ropes. I honestly don't ever recall. I'm sure it's happened, but I don't ever recall. Ray did at the top of the rope, the Eddie thing. I don't know how to do. I look more like the chipmunk from Caddyshack when I do that. But he was doing, what Eddie Guerrero used to do. But it was nice. But Ray tried to do the 619 onto Seth. And I don't know. I got to go back and watch it again. But it looked like Ray slipped, and he almost went through the ropes. And they said that Seth pulled the rope down, and then he went back and did it and nailed it. So, but yeah. It was, a lot of people saying it was a botch. But, they said that Seth countered. I thought that was pretty stupid because Seth was supposed to be in like La La Land. He just got hit in the face with the chair. And like Seth countered. No, Ray looked like he slipped through the rope. So after the match is over, Rollins is out of there and Murphy is standing on the apron outside the ring. And Aaliyah was going to go to hug Murphy. Murphy saved the day. And Ray stops her. And she's all disappointed. It looks like a Telemundo. Like the Latino soap opera shows. She's going to hug him. And he's like, aspetta, un momento. Stay, sit, good girl. And Ray goes up to her and he's like, you want my approval? And they shake each other's hand. And Ray is like, what was that? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I'm drawing a blank right now. But Ray's pretty much like, there you go. There you go. You got my approval. And they hug, and the potted plant is all happy and everything. And I'm like, good, get the fuck off my TV. Don't you have somewhere to, Ray, go plant your wife. Seriously. Get off the TV. We don't need this lovable family stuff. And, we think that it's over. Right now, the feud with Ray and Rollins is over. But Rollins wants a match with Murphy, and he gets one next week. I'm wondering if this leads to loser leaves SmackDown. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they got to write off Rollins soon. We have Survivor Series the following week. So maybe something happens after Survivor Series. Maybe Murphy attacks Rollins again. And maybe this is similar to, remember with Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair on Raw back, I think, in like 1993, where they kept going at it. And Ric Flair cut the promo, the WWF is not big enough for both of us. One stays, one goes. And that was to write off Ric Flair from TV. And he left. He went back to WCW. I have a feeling we may get something similar where Rollins and Murphy keep brawling. And Rollins may insist, the loser leaves SmackDown. And that'll write off Rollins for a month or two. So we will see what happens. So Rey Mysterio wins the match. Now we get a Survivor Series qualifying match. And as I'm looking at the clock, we're going to be about 10 minutes over, 15 minutes over. It's not bad. It's better than an hour and a half over. So Liv Morgan versus Chelsea Green versus Tamina versus Natty. Didn't we say last week that Natty was going to get another fucking qualifying match? She did. Natty is not happy that it's a four-way. And Liv Morgan, I don't know if this was planned also, but Liv Morgan, she hit the face buster on Natty, and she did it a second time. And, whether it was planned to do it twice or, somebody missed something, I'm like, if you're going to make Liv Morgan seem impressive for Team Survivor Series, she shouldn't need to do it twice to get the win. Just nail the finisher, get the win unexpectedly, and that's it. But as we said earlier, Chelsea Green didn't seem to do all that much in this match, so I got to go back. Ben, I think the only reason why Natty keeps getting the shots is because on social media she keeps calling herself the the best of all time. So I guess it's like a little bit of a satire of calling herself the best. She keeps losing and getting missed opportunities. That's the only thing I could think of. I think it's also the lack of women, on that roster in SmackDown that they could give opportunities to. I really didn't have a problem with it this week, but Liv Morgan is now on Team SmackDown. She joins Bianca Belair and Ruby Riott. Like I said, they're really milking this team, which tells me that there's either going to be a big surprise, maybe Bayley, or they really just don't want two weeks worth of criticism online. So, and you know what, franchise, you're probably right. Natty may get another opportunity next week, and she may end up winning and getting a spot. That's very possible, franchise. That's actually really smart, what you said. That actually could very well happen. This could be the equivalent of Lana going through a table every week. That she may get, like she keeps getting opportunity, keeps blowing it, but Survivor Series is next Sunday, so she only gets one more opportunity. So, I like Natty, but, it's just, she always had a lack of crowd reaction. By the way, I forgot to tell everyone, I am invited to be part of Thunderdome on Monday. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet because obviously we got the show Monday night. If I prep everything really early and I don't have to take notes, I'm doing it with Mish. So one thing about Mish prepares for the show big time. So I don't have to do anywhere near the amount of work that I used to have to do. So if Mish preps like the raw notes, then I probably could hang out on Thunderdome for a little while. And be honest with you, if I'm on Thunderdome and I don't see myself on the screen where I could bring Deli Man out and stuff like that, then I'm probably going to just disconnect it. I'm just going to say, no, thank you. I don't need to be on the back, where the bathroom area is, But, so as of right now, I am invited to do Thunderdome again. This would be the 5th time that I was invited. 3 times they just got the email. I'm like, I didn't even sign up for it. Why am I getting the? But I'm like, hey, okay, let's see what happens. But they have me invited for 10 o'clock. So I don't know why the first 2 hours. It's weird. Every time I got an invite without requesting one, it's always the latter part of the show. So I don't know why that is. I don't know. I did speak to someone a while ago that they do send requests to people who have a history of, an account with WWE, not just buying merchandise, stuff like that, but, they don't want, they favor more people who have accounts with WWE than just someone who signs up and posts an email address that they never had any experience with. So I don't know how deep that is. But it's obvious when you see the screen that there's certain types of demo that they want on the camera side. So you could see that every week. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, Street Profits approached by Big E once again. And basically now Big E calls the Street Profits just like New Day wannabe or, like a copy of New Day. And, Street Profits said, that New Day are going to lose at Survivor Series. They're trying hard to cause a little bit of friction between New Day and Street Profits. That could have been easily done by having the New Day show up on SmackDown. Simple. I just think maybe they don't want Big E and Woods and Kingston to hug on TV again. Could have been easy just to show up and have a little bit of friendly, put down of each other. So, but anyway, main event, Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. Let's be honest, everyone, for an unsanctioned match, this was boring. I mean, you think unsanctioned. You expect violence, clusterfucks, brawls, this, that, and it felt like a regular, uneventful match. Roman Reigns' music hits. He walks down ringside and, Drew McIntyre, hits the Claymore on Jey Uso and gets the win. I mean, I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused with that because they've been, I mean, obviously Drew McIntyre is much higher on the food chain as far as single stars against Jey Uso. But this whole thing about Jey Uso being a main eventer and beating guys and this and that, you would have thought that there would have been some type of bullshit finish or something. I was really confused, even when Roman Reigns was telling Jey Uso outside the ring that I don't care if you win or lose, but, show him, what it's all about, make him pay. And Jey Uso loses. So it's almost like they have Roman Reigns say that to basically put the seed in your head. Oh, if he loses, Roman Reigns is not going to read the riot act to Jey Uso. If Roman Reigns don't care if Jey Uso loses, then why even care that Jey Uso challenged him in the first place? I mean, just think of how mad Roman Reigns got earlier in the night and Jey Uso loses. And then you got that verbiage where Drew McIntyre is talking about he's going to beat Randy Orton and face Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns just walks off. And we go off the air. I'm like, wow, that went over like a wet fart. So, I don't know. I thought the ending was pretty uneventful. Sev V, I don't know if you're tuning in late, but there are reports that Chelsea Green broke her wrist or her hand tonight on SmackDown. That's probably a reason why we didn't see as much of her involvement in the match that we thought we were going to see. I'm going to get all the info, and I will update everybody on Monday. Woo, woo, woo. So that was SmackDown. Not bad. Not bad. I'll tell you, the episode went pretty fast for me. I don't know if anybody felt like that it flew by tonight. It was a good flowing show, but I don't know, it was just an odd show. That lack of confrontation of, Raw should be showing up on SmackDown and doing what Retribution did to the SmackDown arena. Not necessarily get a chainsaw and cut the ropes, but Raw should have been causing chaos and vice versa. You have chaos and disarray and the unknown of people showing up. That's called suspense. And WWE has no, pardon my language, has no fucking suspense right now with Survivor Series. It doesn't feel like there's any real friction. I mean, there's more of a storyline that the Raw guys can't get along than them giving a shit about SmackDown. So, before we go, let's talk about ratings. And once again, as 90 Guys said earlier, if you're enjoying the show, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Gets me a little bit more recommendation to others out there. I always love how the haters feel when they're looking around for like wrestling shows on YouTube and then my show pops up as a recommendation. I wonder if anybody's ever like spit at their computer screen like, the fuck are they showing me this for? So, I don't know. I don't think you could block suggestions. So, I want YouTube to torment the haters. Let's talk about ratings. We have the quarter-hour ratings for NXT, for AEW, and I am going to pull them up. And, I didn't even talk about it. What were my predictions on... Wednesday, I said AEW would score 763. They scored a 764. I was off by 20,000 for NXT. NXT, I said they were going to score 609. They scored, I think, 632. So I was off about 23,000 on NXT, but I was only off by 1,000 on AEW. Close. And I remind everyone out there, remember on Wednesdays, I'm not going to repeat it every week, or maybe I should. You post your predictions for the NXT AEW ratings, and if you get any one of them on the head, you get $25. No one has hit yet. So I came the closest of hitting so far. I'm not going to pin myself. But anyway, let's get into the quarter-hour ratings, shall we? Let's talk about AEW first. Since they won, we should always talk about the winning rating first. So, interesting when you see the trend for AEW this week. AEW Hour 1, 806,000 viewers. Hour 2, 722 for a composite of 764. Quarter 1, which was the Taz promo and the match between Brian Cage and Matt Sydal, that scored 773,000 viewers. So the trend of NXT opening up with a better number than AEW did not work this week, because Cage versus Sydal did 773. On the NXT side, Johnny Gargano and Leon Ruff only did 717. I'm not going to go back and forth, but I just wanted to mention the opener for both so you have an idea as far as where the starting point is with each show. So AEW opens up with 773,000 viewers. Quarter 2, which was the segment that everybody's talking about with Jade Cargill and Cody Rhodes, the confrontation with Brandy and Jade, and then you had the Ricky Starks and Brian Cage angle with Darby Allin, Cody Rhodes, and Will Hobbs, all of that nonsense. The rating went down by 9,000. They scored 764. Quarter 3, and they should be very happy with this. Seriously. I know we give criticism to QT Marshall, but one thing that we're starting to realize, and you remember the Young Bucks versus the Butcher and the Blade. Remember that brawl that went up the escalators and everything else? You know, I'll say this. For everybody out there that thought they were wise asses and thought they were hilarious saying that NXT can only win when they have themed shows, well, I got news for those honeys out there. AEW, most of the time, their highest rating of a night is usually a gimmick match. Cody had the match with Darby the Lumberjack. I think that was the highest of the night. You had the Young Bucks, Butcher and the Blade, that brawler, that was the highest of the night. And that even, I think, peaked over 1 million views. Usually, gimmick matches get the biggest rating. The Kenny Omega Hangman Page recap from the pay-per-view, which really wasn't much of the quarter, but quarter 3, which was the majority of Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall versus Butcher and the Blade, that jumped all the way up to 816,000 viewers, which was an increase by 52,000. The next quarter, which was the remainder of that match, and then the segment with Miro, Kip Sabian, and Penelope Ford, that went up another 54,000 viewers to 870. So the two highest increases of the night involved Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, the Butcher, and the Blade. And as I just said, the Butcher and the Blade and the Young Bucks scored very recently really impressive numbers. So good for all four of them. So they were all the way up to 870 with that match. Now here's where you get some very surprising numbers. The Inner Circle MJF injunction, the segment with the Young Bucks and FTR, the recap, and then the Young Bucks, that promo about the match next week against Top Flight, that rating went down 123,000 viewers. That is surprising. 123,000. And the funny thing is, when you go to the NXT side for the same quarter, and you may think to yourself, okay, AEW went down 123. Maybe they all went over to NXT. NXT for that same quarter only went up 30,000 viewers. So you had almost 100,000 viewers that just decided they were going to turn off wrestling. That's a big deal, especially when you see who's in that quarter. And it continues. Scorpio Sky versus Shawn Spears, that Kenny Omega promo outside in the parking lot, and the very beginning of Ty Conti versus Red Velvet, the rating went down further, went down to 716, a drop of 31,000 viewers. The remainder of the women's match and the Inner Circle promo in the back. Remember when Sammy Guevara showed up and he was at the beach? And then Eddie Kingston's promo before the main event, the rating went down even further. Went down 20,000 viewers. Very odd. This week's Inner Circle segment, both of them, had viewership decline. Main event, Penta versus Rey Fenix and Pac's return, only went up 32,000 viewers. So AEW opened with 773 and they closed with 732. So very interesting numbers this week for AEW. So if you want to summarize it, and I always do this just to give you like a bar graph, show you the trend. We start with the average, which was 764. That was the rating for the night. So these were the quarters when you look at it. 773, 764, 816, 870, 747, 716, 696, 732. So they had 3 full quarters where the rating just kept going down, 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 down. So now we go to NXT. Hour 1, 668,000 viewers. Hour 2, 596,000 viewers for a composite of 632. Benjamin thinks Nielsen is so archaic and unreliable. You may think that, but when you see a pattern of certain wrestlers getting massive drops in viewers every episode, that is not being archaic or unreliable. That's a trend that some people are just not connecting with fans. We have talked about that before. And Sam gets a little revenge tonight. Sam, he says, fuck you, Ken. Oh my God, do I see a brawl coming? A brawl. Let's have a super chat brawl. Come on. Save it. Save it for tonight. Let's talk about NXT. One more time. Fuck you, Ken. No, I'm kidding. Hour 1, 668. Hour 2, 596 for a composite of 632. Opening quarter, which was Johnny Gargano versus Leon Ruff for the North American title, and then all the stuff that happened backstage after that, opened with 17,000 viewers. 717. Jake Atlas, man, not connecting with fans. Another night where nice big drop. 51,000 viewership drop, and we're only in quarter 2. Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas dropped to 666. The end of that match, Shotzi Blackheart's promo, and the whole segment that went down with Raquel Gonzalez and Boa, that increased slightly to 680. Timothy Thatcher, another guy that out of everybody is probably clicking the least when it comes to fans. Blows me away. And for months, how many, was it 6 months now? Timothy Thatcher, I don't remember ever a big ratings or any substantial increase in viewers when he's on. The segment with Timothy Thatcher, August Gray, and Dexter Lumis in the back, and the very beginning of Candice LeRae versus Toni Storm dropped, get this, from 680,000 viewers down to 609. That's terrible. The main part of the match with Candice LeRae versus Toni Storm, that increased slightly to 641. Timothy Thatcher versus Dexter Lumis, and then everything that went down with Cameron Grimes, that dropped to 617,000 viewers, which was a 24,000 view drop. And that's quarter 6. So again, Timothy Thatcher involved in 2 quarters, and both of those quarters total almost 100,000 less viewers. Quarter 7, Tommaso Ciampa's promo, Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai's video package, and Pat McAfee's promo before the main event match, that went down 46,000 viewers down to 571. So you can't blame that on AEW because that same quarter, AEW's quarter, went down 20,000 viewers. So fans were just tuning out to wrestling. The main event, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Tyler Breeze and Fandango dropped all the way down to 555,000 viewers, a drop of 16,000. Not a big drop, but you started the show with 717,000 viewers. You ended the show with 555. Think about this. The main event for NXT was the lowest quarter of the entire night. Breezango has done some decent quarters in the past. But, you know, Lorcan and Birch, and I've said this before, I like McAfee as their manager. I like Pete Dunne in their group. But at the end of the day, NXT has never gotten Birch and Lorcan connected with the fans. And instead of trying to work on them, they put Pat McAfee and Pete Dunne around them. And guess what? When those two guys are in their match, fans are still tuning out. And that's a problem because Lorcan and Birch has never popped the number. McAfee, his promo still dropped 50,000 viewers. So he can only do so much. Can only do so much. Sam says he got his money worth. Yeah, he got even more. So that is your quarter-hour breakdowns for both shows today. You know, one thing you're starting to notice, Timothy Thatcher, I don't know what you do, man. I mean, look, I think Timothy Thatcher is being accepted a little bit more now than before. But Jake Atlas, man, I hate to single him out. They have him getting out of cars and going gangsta on Santos Escobar, hitting him with pipes, driving off. Problem is, the next day, Jake Atlas is talking to, you know, Xavier Woods on a podcast, talking about how Stephanie influenced him getting into wrestling. And Jake Atlas is a very likable guy. He just, this attitude on NXT, I don't think is believable. I think the biggest mistake NXT did was not having Jake Atlas turn on Drake Maverick when they were doing that whole tournament where it was do or die for Drake Maverick. I think he would have gotten some big-time heat on him. Drake Maverick, everybody was emotional when Drake Maverick got let go and had that video of him crying that WWE is his life. Could you imagine if Jake Atlas screwed him at the very end? Instant heat. And they didn't do that. And I think they're still paying for it at this time. So anyway, with that said, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I thank everybody for your support as always. As I said before, you know, if you enjoyed tonight's show, as 90 guys said, you know, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up on the way out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, doesn't cost anything. Subscribe. This way you are notified, or you will, whenever you go on your channel, you'll see when new videos are posted. Next week, I will be doing the Q&A that we started hyping last week. A ton of questions this time around. Big time questions. So somebody, Ken, Terminated by DQ, did I compare the Zelina segment to Jesse Ventura's situation? No, I didn't. Because Jesse Ventura pushing a union, it's a little bit different because Jesse Ventura was not looking, there was no Twitch at the time and streaming media and this and that. I mean, Jesse, look, the idea of pushing a union, it's interpreted differently by different people. And here's the problem, Ken, with that thinking. It's not a bad idea. I mean, trust me, when I hear unions, I always think back to what Jesse Ventura pitched a long time ago. But here's the problem with that. I think that, you know, when Paige said she was talking to attorneys, you know, attorneys obviously are looking out for themselves and their client more than anything else. But, you know, I personally think that the best advice I could give to anybody in WWE, whether they're still there or they're gone, they should really read up on the benefits, the pluses and minuses about unions. Because if you hire a lawyer, that lawyer wants to be hired, wants to make money and notoriety and everything else. So that lawyer could sell you a bag of beans, and that might not be the best idea, you know, for you or the best interest for you in mind. Look at that concussion lawsuit, that class action lawsuit that attorney tried to do recently. And he contacted the families of people that, you know, were in WWE for like 1 or 2 matches and they thought they had a legitimate lawsuit. You could see that a mile away. He was promising them everything. And people were just signing up, figuring, what do I have to lose? and the guy lost. Like I said, you know, I don't mind people interviewing people like Andrew Yang and everything else, but notice the hard-nosed questions that they don't bring up. And the thing is, what Zelina Vega thinks a union could do for her is different than what Jesse Ventura thinks a union could do for him. Or what, and I think you got to understand this too. Jesse Ventura with the unions was past his career prime. And it was more about health benefits when you retire. I don't want to say 401ks, but, you know, you don't want to be left after wrestling is over with nothing. So I don't think Paige or Zelina Vega is worrying about their retirement right now. They're worrying about the money they can make in their prime. Don't mean to be an asshole, but before things start sagging, before you have more chins than a Chinese restaurant, you know, you don't understand what I'm saying? Like, they're looking for right now. They're not looking for tomorrow. So everybody interprets a union differently. So I understand why you're saying about Jesse Ventura, but, you know, everybody has a different definition and a different purpose for it. And you got to be really, really careful. You got to be really, really careful. Because union sounds very, very attractive. But if you don't do your research, you're going to have union delegates that are going to sell you the world why you should be a part of the union. And the worst part about it, and this is something nobody thinks about, look at baseball, for example, or football. You remember when they went on strike? Especially football. Remember when football went on strike a long time ago and you had what they called scabs playing? And then what happened? You had football players that were not part of the union that showed up to play, and they were being berated, they were being harassed, they were being called traitors and this and that, and they felt like shit. And the thing is that if you put a union in wrestling, not everybody's going to want to be part of that union. Then you're pitting people against each other. It's a mess. So I strongly suggest, if I was Paige and Zelina Vega or anyone else, nothing wrong with talking to attorneys to get educated a little bit, but your best bet is to do reading on your own. Research unions for other types of entertainment, businesses, and just see what the biggest complaints people have about unions, what's the biggest strengths, and see if that fits you, because in the end, you might get more benefits, you might get more of certain things, but you lose other things in return. You know, and that's why some people, you know, are totally against unions. It has nothing to do with giving WWE more power. It's more of, you know, does this outweigh this? You know, you really gotta look into it. So, yeah, franchise unions are super strong. I don't want to say it's the mafia, but if you're not part of the union, man, you're considered like an outsider. You know, it's almost, they almost think you're toxic because you're not part of the union. So, plus here's another thing. When you're part of a union, you really don't have any say. It's the unions that speak for you. So you might want to work out some type of an agreement with WWE, and the union will say, no, you can't. We're the ones that make the decisions. So trust me, you got to really think this through. I personally think that some of these stars are probably better off just leaving WWE. Go make your money on social media. And when that starts to run dry, then you see if you can make a return. If you can't, then you have to be creative and find other means of income. But anyway, everyone, I am out of here. I want to definitely shut this before we hit exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I will be back Monday with the birthday boy, Mish. So once again, if you want... Oh, by the way, a little treat on Monday. Mish and I are going to do this. WWE right now has a little tournament going, Undertaker's Greatest Matches. We're going to pull this up on Monday, and you all are welcome to be part of it. We're going to go through these, these brackets, and right on the spot, we're going to try to come up with what we think is the Undertaker's greatest match of all time. So we're going to do that Monday. So it'll be a lot of fun. So everyone, be well, stay safe, And I'll catch you all again Monday for Breakfast Soup Raw. So, everyone, Brian, before I go, he's been watching content for a couple of weeks now. Really entertaining. Keep up with the good. And so Brian's a newbie. I don't want to say newbie, but, much love, Brian. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, seriously, I thank you for that. I really do. Like I say many times, I'm not the most polished, not the most pleasant person to look at. I could be very, very raw and rub people the wrong way sometimes, but, I'd rather just be straight up and honest and, not try to, be somebody that I'm not. And just, we have some nice discussions and we see where it goes. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. And hopefully you're one of those that hit the like before you go. So anyway, everyone, like I said, from now on, you're only going to see a commercial at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show, nothing in between as far as video goes. I'm going to start upgrading this channel a little bit. You'll see a couple of things added within the next week, and I am working with Mish to do some new stuff in 2021. We're really going to blow this channel up. Seriously, for good. For the good. We're really going to open this up a little bit. I wanted 2020 to really be like, a learning experience for me. Because like I said, I've been doing this since 97, but I'm only on video for 8 months, 8.5 months. So this is still very, very new to me, but I'm starting to get the feel for it. And 2021, we really want to blow this wide open. So I don't know how other people are going to react to it, but honestly, I don't really care. As long as you're enjoying the channel, that's all that matters. So, all right, everybody, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all again Monday after Monday Night Raw. So, ciao. And, Saturday night, if you're around, you want to game with us, go to our Discord channel. We will be gaming around 9:30 p.m. Saturday night. So, why is Sam telling me to read Ken's full super chat? You do that to me every show, and I'm looking at Ken's super chat, and let's see. Oh, wait, whoa. He is right. Oh, my God. Why do I keep doing that to you, Ken? Ken wanted... I think Sam likes to be abused by Ken, because he wanted me to read the whole thing and basically saying that Sam is a cheap loser. What do you have, a fetish of being abused by Ken? There's some awkwardness going on. I'm only kidding. You guys are funny, man. Seriously. I mean, they're having like their own feud every week on this channel. And it's funny because I swear to you, no joke, I get DMs and I get emails for feedback from the shows a lot. Some people give me some ideas, some opinions, praise, criticism. I accept it all. It's all good. And on Patreon last week, I had 3 or 4 people that are like, who are these guys cursing each other out and this and that? Because they hear it and they don't see what's going on the videos. So they don't see the chat log. But it's all good, man. We're all having fun. Nobody really means anything bad at the end of the day. Like I said, we're here to just have a good time, get our minds off of all the bullshit that's going on in this world, and try to talk about something that we all mutually enjoy, and that is wrestling. And it is what it is. But next week's looks like it's gonna be a pretty good week as far as wrestling goes. NXT, we have no idea really, other than 1 or 2 matches, what's gonna go on. AEW is already hyping up 1 tag match. We'll see what transpires. A lot of people that were on Full Gear were off this week as far as in the ring. So I expect a lot of those people to be back in action. And, next weekend is Survivor Series. So I will be doing your Survivor Series pay-per-view recap. I might be doing it with Mish. I'm not sure yet. I got to talk to him, see if he's doing one for Wrestling Soup or if we're going to do one together. And just one last reminder before I go, don't forget 2 weeks from today, which would be the 27th of November, I will not be on, because Thanksgiving weekend for 5 days, I will be out of New York. I will be spending time with my significant other. you know, celebrating the 1 year anniversary of getting engaged, try to, you know, clear my mind a little bit, little energy, maybe win a couple of bucks while I'm gone. So that's it. So once again, everybody, have a great weekend. All the best. Much love as always. I'll catch you all again Monday night after Breakfast Soup Raw. Ken and Sam, have a great weekend. Take care, everybody. Much love. Ciao.